We should be comprehensive, defeating the ideology of extremism that is the root cause of this terrorism, so that we win the battle of ideas, not just the battle of military might. We should be intelligent, supporting representative and accountable governments and working with them at their requests, not going in over their heads. We should be inclusive, working with partners in the region who are prepared to be part of the solution, potentially including Iran. And we should be uncompromising, using all the means at our disposal, including military force, to hunt down these extremists. Let me take each of these in turn. The root cause of this terrorist threat is a poisonous ideology of Islamist extremism. This is nothing to do with Islam, which is a peaceful religion which inspires countless acts of generosity every day. Islamist extremism, on the other hand, believes in using the most brutal forms of terrorism to force people to accept a warped worldview and to live in a quasi-medieval state. To defeat ISIL and organizations like it, we must defeat this ideology in all its forms. As evidence emerges about the backgrounds of those convicted of terrorist offenses, it is clear that many of them were initially influenced by preachers who claim not to encourage violence, but whose worldview can be used as a justification for it. We know this worldview, the peddling of lies, that 9/11 was somehow a Jewish plot, or that the 7/7 London attacks were staged. The idea that Muslims are persecuted all over the world as a deliberate act of Western policy. The concept of an inevitable clash of civilizations. We must be clear, to defeat the ideology of extremism, we need to deal with all forms of extremism, not just violent extremism. For governments, there are some obvious ways we can do this. We must ban preachers of hate from coming to our countries. We must prescribe organizations that incite terrorism against people at home and abroad. We must work together to take down illegal online material like the recent videos of ISIL murdering hostages. And we must stop the so-called non-violent extremists from inciting hatred and intolerance in our schools, our universities, and yes, even our prisons. Of course, some will argue that this is not compatible with free speech and intellectual inquiry. But I ask you, would we sit back and allow right-wing extremists, Nazis or Ku Klux Klansmen to recruit on our university campuses? No. So we shouldn't stand by and just allow any form of non-violent extremism. We need to argue that prophecies of a global war of religion, pitting Muslims against the rest of the world, these things are nonsense. We need Muslims and their governments around the world to reclaim their religion from these sick terrorists, as so many are doing and quite rightly doing today. We all need help, and to help them with programs that channel young people away from these poisonous ideologues. And we need the strongest possible international focus on tackling this ideology, which is why here at the United Nations, the United Kingdom is calling for a new special representative on extremism.
My name's Matt Campbell, and my brother Jeff was murdered on 9/11. I've come down to New Scotland Yard to hand myself in because according to David Cameron's speech last Friday to the UN, I'm an example of a non-aggressive extremist because I question the official narrative of 9/11. So, let's see what happens. Can I see DS Nigel Levitt, please?
You got an appointment?
No, I haven't.
Do you need an appointment?
No, well, can I see a senior police officer? Are you a police officer? Or
No.
Right. Is it possible to speak to them?
You actually need an appointment.
To go in?
Yeah.
I'm here to hand myself in to be arrested.
Okay.
I'm a terrorist threat.
This isn't actually a police station.
It's New Scotland Yard and counter-terrorism commander.
Okay, but it isn't actually a police station.
No, it's counter-terrorism commander here, yeah.
Okay. As I said, it isn't actually a police station.
Right.
You need to go to the police station.
We're going to get far here, aren't we? Just announced I'm a terrorist threat and they don't seem to be that bothered. Let's try and go and find a coffee, yeah? My name's Matt Campbell and my brother Jeff was murdered on 9/11. I've come down to Westminster to see if one of the good coppers over there will arrest me. I feel it's my duty to hand myself in because of the comments that David Cameron made at the UN last week, that non-violent extremists, people who question 9/11 and other events are somehow as bad as the ISIL terrorists. So let's see how we get on.
This won't be shut for the next half hour. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
David Cameron's speech last Friday. No, well, I'm here because I want to hand myself in to be arrested. I feel that I'm a terrorist threat, as he just described.
Just hold on, sir, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with the Lord Chancellor's breakfast, okay?
Lord Chancellor's who?
Lord Chancellor's breakfast. We've got that going on at the moment.
Right. And it's breakfast. What's that about?
There's a function I'm dealing with it.
Okay. One of your colleagues can speak to? I'm a terrorist threat, allegedly. Because I question 9/11. Is anyone I can talk to?
Not at the moment, no.
No? You're all
Yeah, we're all dealing with it.
the Chancellor's breakfast. Do you know what he's going to have to eat?
Are you?
Have you had your breakfast?
Not yet.
I had some fruit.
Maybe you should introduce yourself, Matt.
No, you just chat
No?
to me.
Alright.
Colleagues?
Trying, but he's busy as well.
I'm here to hand myself in under arrest because I'm a terrorist threat, according to David Cameron's comments last Friday. The people who question 9/11, i.e. non-violent extremists like myself, are a biggest threat as ISIL.
Yeah, from POW from.
Possible to get a senior officer or someone down I can speak to?
I'm all busy at the moment, sir.
Because of the breakfast.
That's it, sir.
How long is that going to go on for?
No, I couldn't possibly tell you, sir.
A bit late for breakfast. Well, 12, isn't it? Okay, alright, thanks.